On June 1st, 2008, there was a fire, as you can see here, at a Universal Studios backlot storage facility whose details are just coming to light now, 11 years later. It wasn't just any storage facility. It happened to house some of the most important master recordings ever in the history of music, which till now has remained a secret. Here are some of the artists whose master recordings have been lost forever. Louis Armstrong, Billie Holiday, Aretha Franklin, Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, Neil Diamond, The Eagles, Elton John, Duke Ellington, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Count Basie, Ella Fitzgerald, Muddy Waters, Judy Garland, Patsy Cline, Bing Crosby, Nirvana. In an article from the LA Times, Ben Montench, longtime keyboardist for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, said it best. The master recording is like a painting. When you stand in front of the original, you are standing there in the presence of the artist. You can take a photo of the painting, but no photo, regardless of how high the resolution might be, can truly capture what's in the original canvas. So the master recordings are actually the 2-track mixes. In the case of Nevermind by Nirvana, Andy Wallace, who mixed the record, in order to get paid, had to deliver the masters, meaning he had to send the reels of tape to a mastering engineer who would EQ and compress the record and then put it into sequence for production. The master tapes were then delivered back to the record label for safekeeping. Now, Universal, or UMG, has known about this and kept this story quiet for 11 years. Now, why is that? Well, probably because an artist could come and say, like Tom Petty or his estate or Nirvana, could say, you know what? You don't own our masters. And they say, yes, we do. Well, where are they? Produce them. They go in the court and they can't produce the masters. They don't have them. They don't have those original mixdown tapes anymore. So they really don't own the masters. So there's going to be a lot of lawsuits from this, and there should be. UMG is very big about protecting their rights on YouTube, taking down things, blocking things, demonetizing things. If they were only careful with actually protecting the artist's actual creations. Anytime they remaster a record, you would typically go back and play the original source material from the tapes. Back in 1999, I did a mastering session at Sterling Sound in New York City with a mastering engineer named George Marino. George had just finished remastering the entire Zeppelin catalog. They were doing a big DVD release. So I asked him, what was it like to actually have these Zeppelin final mixes there? And he said, well, Jimmy Page brought in the tapes. And the boxes were all kind of crumbling and things like that, but these were the actual original master tapes off the console that are the recordings that we listen to today. Stairway to Heaven, Rock and Roll, The Ocean, whatever it might be. He said that they had to bake the tapes to keep the oxides on them, and they would play them once when they were transferring them in to remaster them. Jimmy Page had all the masters. He didn't leave it to Atlantic Records. He kept them himself. In retrospect, it seems like a pretty smart thing. Universal actually put out a statement, and here's what it says. Music preservation is of the highest priority for us, and we are proud of our track record. While there are constraints preventing us from publicly addressing some of the details of the fire that occurred at the NBC Universal Studios facility more than a decade ago, the incident, while deeply unfortunate, never affected the availability of the commercially released music nor impacted artists' compensation. This is from the New York Times a few days ago. The fire most likely claimed most of Chuck Berry's chess masters and multi-track masters, a body of work that constitutes Chuck Berry's greatest recordings. The destroyed chess masters encompass nearly everything else recorded for the label and its subsidiaries, including most of Chess' output of Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Willie Dixon, Bo Diddley, Etta James, John Lee Hooker, Buddy Guy, and Little Walter. Virtually all of Buddy Holly's masters were lost in the fire. Most of John Coltrane's Impulse masters were lost, as were the masters of treasured Impulse releases by Ellington, Count Basie, Coleman Hawkins, Dizzy Gillespie, Max Roach, Art Blakey, Sonny Rollins, Charles Mingus, Ornette Coleman, Alice Coltrane, Sun Ra, Albert Ayler, Pharoah Sanders, and other jazz greats. Okay, so let me get this straight. Universal's response is, well, deeply unfortunate it didn't affect the availability of the artist's music. Well, If it really wasn't that important, then why keep it a secret for 11 years? These master recordings, any outtakes, whatever is contained in Building 6197 is lost forever. I'd like to know your thoughts. That's all for now. Please subscribe here to my Everything Music YouTube channel. If you're a new subscriber, don't forget to ring the bell. Thanks for watching.